Professor Chilani, if China gets bogged down in South China Sea, will it impact or adversely impact China's power projection capabilities in the Indian Ocean region?
Definitely, because the South China Sea is the critical corridor connecting the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. But actually, the situation is quite different. It is that China, very aggressively, is seeking to tighten its grip on the South China Sea. Its tactics range from shadowing and hounding smaller neighbors' vessels and harassing their offshore oil and gas operations to regularizing patrols of other countries' exclusive economic zones so as to assert expansive territorial claims of fishing and energy exploration rights. In effect, what China has been doing is that in breach of the Hague ruling in 2016, an International Arbitral Tribunal at The Hague ruled that China's claims in the South China Sea are actually unfounded, and in fact, they have no basis in international law.
Absolutely.
And yet, what China has done through brute might is that it has effectively redrawn the geopolitical map of the South China Sea. Even the US is unwilling to really stand up to China in the South China Sea. Many American commentators are talking about how the US has lost the South China Sea. So there's a fundamental shift in the ground situation in the South China Sea.
So if there is this fundamental shift, Professor Chilani, before I bring in Captain Sharma, will just 3 batteries of Brahmos, is this just an intent? Because Philippines has a large area to protect, as does Indonesia, and as does Vietnam. How will things change with India's intent, a decision that was taken in 2022 by the Narendra Modi government? How will the equation change in your view, Professor Chilani?
Well, from the Indian standpoint, this first shipment of Brahmos to the Philippines is quite important because it marks India's entry in the international export market. But from a strategic perspective, looking at it from the Philippines perspective, 3 batteries of Brahmos aren't going to change the fundamentals.
Absolutely.
Yet, the fact that the Philippines, a close US ally, has chosen to buy the Indo-Russian Brahmos is highly significant. It's highly significant also for the reason that India needs Russia's permission for exporting Brahmos. And the first customer of Brahmos is a country that is tied to the US by a mutual defense treaty. I think geopolitically that's very significant. It also conveys that the Philippines is desperate. It has not received the kind of support that it expected from the US, and therefore it's seeking to shore up its own defenses by buying equipment of the kind that India is offering.